Feels so good to be back. Yo, what's up, world? Welcome back to the channel, APW Sports signing in, and welcome to the premiere of Season 4, Episode 1 of Chicago Bears Weekly. I felt it was time to bring the series back. We're right around the point where training camp will usually start, but with everything going on, it's just unknown and uncertainty. But I felt like it was about time to bring the Chicago Bear Weekly series back. Now, it's been a lot going on with the Bears off season. They've made a lot of moves, drafts, and things of that nature to kind of improve on last season's 8-8 season, which was unexpected going into 2019. But going into 2020, expectations are all over the place. And one specific move that I'm going to cover in today's episode is the acquisition of quarterback Nick Foles. And today we are going to dive into the real reason why the Chicago Bears made the trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars for the services of Nick Foles. But before I start this episode, I just want to make sure that you guys are staying 100% safe. I know it's still a lot going on out there in the world, and I just want to make sure that you guys are doing your part in staying safe as possible. And just a fresh reminder that 60% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you are one of those people, make sure to subscribe to the channel and make sure to click that notification bell to be notified of when your boy uploads a brand new video. But without further ado, let's dive into it. One of the moves that the Bears made this offseason was acquiring quarterback Nick Foles to come in and compete for the starting job heading into 2020. And this quarantine has given me time to really kind of go down a rabbit hole a bit and just kind of think about what moves they made, how can they improve the roster, things like that. And the one move that always kind of led me down different places was the move to acquire Nick Foles. It was a bit of a head scratcher then, and the more I start to think about it and the more time passes by, it's still a bit of a head scratcher. And this is why I think it's a head scratcher. Because number one, you're taking on a huge portion remaining on his contract. You're taking on 3 years and $50 million for a guy that may not start, a guy that can potentially just be a backup, and you're taking a bit of a risk for that amount of money. Well, we did not give up much to get Foles as far as picks and assets. At the same time, there were a lot of cheaper options on the market, and the Bears needed more improvement, especially on the offensive line rather than the quarterback position. I've stated numerous times on this channel that I don't think the entire 2019 Bears bad offense was entirely on Mitchell Trubisky. It was a lot of factors, Trubisky being one of them, the play calling being one of them. He was injured with the torn labrum in his shoulder throughout most of the year. It wasn't his throwing shoulder, it was his left shoulder. But nonetheless, he was still dealing with pain and an injury that could really affect his play. The offensive coordinator, who you guys probably know, I did not want most of the season. I thought he should have been fired, and he was fired. That's part of it. The offensive line play was really not that good. That's part of it. And I understand the point of getting competition, but at the end of the day, that season was not his fault. Which led me dive into the real reason I think that the Chicago Bears made the acquisition for Nick Foles. The real reasons, I'll give a couple, is number one, a guy with Nick Foles' experience, his playoff history, and he's been through a lot in the course of his league. He has the talent, he has the potential to, number one, take that starting job. I think that they got Foles because it could be a sense of Trubisky got a little bit too comfortable, that he knew he was a starter. He knew that he was the guy going into the season. So that can affect him mentally, that the point of he doesn't need to do X, Y, and Z because he knows he has the job. He knows he has everything locked up. And despite how he plays, he still feels that the team will have his back. And number two, I think it really just forced Trubisky to kind of take the time to really work on the things that he needed to work on. And number one, I've said on this channel a lot as well that some of the problems that had with Trubisky is his footwork and his mechanics. Those were two of the things that kind of got away from him at times, because the footwork, especially when you're on your front foot and leading your front shoulder, if you don't have the proper mechanics or your mechanics are not consistent, they can lead to a lot of errant throws. And Trubisky had a lot of high throws throughout the course of his young career, and that is due to inconsistent mechanics. Now, last year, that front shoulder, that kind of hindered his mechanics a lot because you're dealing with a lot of pain, especially with a torn labrum in the shoulder. So this offseason, it really forced him to, A, strengthen that shoulder. He had the surgery early on, and that also forced him to really work on his footwork. It really forced him to work on his mechanics to really prove that he should be the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears going forward. Another real reason that I think the Chicago Bears brought in Nick Foles is that you get a different backup even if he does not win the job. Because the last few seasons, you've had Chase Daniel as a backup quarterback. But the difference between having Chase Daniel here to back up Mitchell Trubisky and to have Nick Foles back up Mitchell Trubisky is that Nick Foles has a ton more playing experience than Chase Daniel. And Nick Foles has been in an offense very similar to this in his time with the Eagles and with his time with the Kansas City Chiefs when Matt Nagy was there under Andy Reid's system. So he has this kind of the same familiarity of the system, being with Doug Peterson, Andy Reid, and being previously with Matt Nagy in Kansas City. So he has that experience, not only just knowing the offense, but also playing in the offense. So that will help out a lot. Even if he does not win the job, he has the sightseeing of being on the field and seeing different things with the offense. So that could be a huge beneficial to have behind Trubisky. And even if Trubisky does not play well, or let's just say, for instance, he gets hurt or just anything of that nature, you know you have somebody that's capable and very quality of a quarterback. And Nick Foles, has he's proven to not only have success, he has led an Eagles team that, especially in the last couple of weeks of a season, to not only take over the team, to lead them to a Super Bowl and to win the Super Bowl and get the MVP of the Super Bowl. So that means Nick Foles has a lot of playing experience versus Chase Daniel, who really didn't play much in his career and had only 4 career starts in his entire career. And he's been in the league since 2007, 2008. And Nick Foles has had a ton of starts, seasons where he's had really, really excellent seasons in this league. So he brings that type of playing experience, even if he does not win a job, behind Trubisky that he did not have in Chase Daniel. So that experience can help out Mitchell Trubisky a ton, even though they're both still going to compete for the job. And I've said previously that I think Trubisky will win the job. It's just Nick Foles brings a different dynamic than Chase Daniel brought the last few seasons. That is all I have, guys. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment whether you agree or disagree with the reason that the Chicago Bears traded for Nick Foles. And also, subscribe to that channel, as that helps the channel to grow tremendously. And also, if you guys want to keep up with me, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Both handles are APW Sports, and both will be linked in the description below. But you guys have a great and excellent day, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.
I wanna say thank you to my mom and my daddy for making love the night that you had me. Wanna thank my friends, my sister, and my brother.